Jackson Township Police.
I can't find my daughter.
What's your daughter's name?
Ashley. Quiet.
When's the last time you seen her?
This afternoon, probably.
Around what time?
3, maybe 4.
What? Okay, and you haven't seen her in 5 hours?
About, yeah. I mean, she was there sleeping. I mean, we started cleaning up, and then, we opened the door, and she's not here.
On the frigid winter night of January 9, 2017, the tranquility of Jackson Township, Ohio, was shattered when Liang, the owner of a local Chinese restaurant, dialed 911 in a panic, desperately seeking help to find his missing daughter. Liang explained to the operator that Ashley, his 5-year-old daughter, had been last seen sleeping inside their restaurant, Ing's Asian Cuisine, but when they went to check on her hours later, she had vanished without a trace.
Breaking news, a community shaken as police in Jackson Township search for this little girl, 5-year-old Ashley Zhao. The child last seen at about 5 o'clock last night at her family's Chinese restaurant.
And right now, a statewide missing child alert is in effect.
What happened to young Ashley Zhao on that bone-chilling winter night? How could a girl so young and innocent vanish into the dark without warning? Welcome back to Mysterious Hook. Today we'll investigate the disturbing case of Ashley Zhao, a 5-year-old girl who vanished from her family's restaurant in Ohio. Jackson Township, located in Stark County, Ohio, is a vibrant community nestled amid rolling hills, lush green fields, and serene countryside. This thriving township offers a charming blend of rural and modern. Jackson Township transforms into a white wonderland, with snow-covered landscapes and crisp, cold air. It was on one such winter night that the disappearance of a young girl shook the community to its very core. Ashley Zhao entered the world on December 30th, 2011, with the promise of a bright future. She was a sweet little girl with beautiful black hair, sparkling eyes, and a delightful button nose that perfectly captured her youthful innocence. However, life for Ashley was far from idyllic. Her parents, Ming Ming and Liang Zhao, owned and operated Ing's Asian Cuisine, a restaurant in North Canton. The demanding nature of the business left them with little time and energy to devote to their 2 daughters. As the weight of the restaurant took its toll and caring for baby Ashley became increasingly challenging, her parents decided to send Ashley to live with her paternal grandmother in New York. This choice was made to ensure that Ashley received the attention and care she deserved, even if it meant being separated from her parents and older sister, JoJo. During her time with her grandparents, however, Ashley began showing signs of significant developmental delay, struggling to keep pace with her peers. By the time Ashley returned home to Ohio in October 2015, her condition had worsened by years of neglect and lack of essential nurturing. She was ill-prepared for the world and emotionally and developmentally behind. But at least she was back home where she belonged, reunited with her parents and sister. Ashley's parents, Ming Ming and Liang Zhao, shared a common Chinese background, although they grew up in different countries. Reconstructing their journey, based on information available in court documents and immigration records, reveals a young couple determined to succeed and live the American dream. Ming Ming was born and raised in China, where her spiritual journey as a young woman led her to finding solace and purpose in the practice of Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa. Falun Gong is a spiritual discipline that combines meditation, exercises, and moral teachings based on the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. It emerged in the early 1990s in China and quickly gained popularity, attracting millions of followers who sought inner peace and spiritual enlightenment. Falun Gong faced persecution from the Chinese government as it was viewed as a threat to the authority of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. The movement's rapid growth and independent nature raised concerns within the CCP about its influence and ability to mobilize people. While its spiritual teachings emphasized personal values and spiritual growth, were seen as competing with the CCP's ideology. As a result, the Chinese government launched a systematic crackdown of Falun Gong practitioners, including arrest, detention, forced labor, torture, and allegations of organ harvesting. Ming Ming lived in constant fear, aware of her devotion to Falun Gong made her vulnerable to punishment by the authorities, who justified their persecution through demonizing propaganda. She was forced to flee China in August 2008 and reportedly paid $68,000 to a human smuggler to sneak her into the United States through the Mexican border, concealed in a car. In early 2009, she applied for asylum. According to Ming Ming's statements to the U.S. immigration authorities, she was a former elementary school teacher in China and had turned to Falun Gong as a means to cope with insomnia caused by job-related stress. However, she was arrested by the police in April 2008. She claimed that the police had conducted a raid on her home and detained her for a month, where she was mistreated by the authorities and even beaten with a baton. Ming Ming had to finally sign a statement renouncing her practice of Falun Gong to secure her release. However, the credibility of her story was questioned by immigration officials due to inconsistencies, and her asylum application was denied. Despite multiple appeals, a judge ordered Ming Ming's removal from the U.S. in late 2009, and her case was declined for further review in 2012. Meanwhile, Ming Ming and Liang's paths intertwined amid the hustle and bustle of his sister's restaurant in New York. Liang was helping his sister in the restaurant when, in the midst of the culinary chaos, his eyes met the enchanting gaze of Ming Ming Chen, who was also part of the restaurant staff. Within those shared moments of hard work and dedication, an undeniable spark ignited. They fell deeply in love and got married. In the summer of 2011, the couple moved to Stark County, Ohio, to embark on a courageous venture. Nestled on Portage Street in North Canton, they opened the doors to Ang's Asian cuisine, introducing Chinese culinary flavors to the local community. Ming Ming and Liang were the sole employees and worked tirelessly 6 days a week as customers began to frequent the place. During this time, their family expanded. Jojo was born in October 2010, followed by Ashley in December 2011. But 5 years later, the American dream was shattered when Ashley went missing. On the bitterly cold winter night of January 9, 2017, Liang Zhao called 911 in a panic just as the clock struck 9 p.m.
Jackson Township Police.
I can't find my daughter.
What's your daughter's name?
Ashley. Quiet.
When's the last time you seen her?
This afternoon, probably.
Around what time?
3, maybe 4.
What? Okay, and you haven't seen her in 5 hours?
About, yeah. I mean, she was there sleeping. We started cleaning up, and then, we opened the door, and she's not here.
His trembling voice pierced through the emergency line, desperately seeking help to find his missing daughter. Liang reported that Ashley had vanished from the back room of Ang's Asian Cuisine, their restaurant in North Canton. Ming Ming and Liang, consumed by the demands of their long hours of work, often brought Ashley along to the establishment. She would spend her time in the back room, alternating between sleep and playful exploration. On that fateful day, Liang recounted bringing Ashley to the restaurant at 4 p.m. as the daylight faded and gently laying her down in the quiet refuge of the back room. As the hours ticked by, a relentless blizzard set in. Liang told the 911 operator that when Ming Ming stepped into the back room after wrapping up work, Ashley was nowhere to be found. They were worried that their little girl, who had not been dressed for the bitter cold, had wandered outside into the violent blizzard. Law enforcement swiftly responded to the distressing call. Minutes felt like eternity as police vehicles screeched to a halt outside Ang's Asian Cuisine. Determined to find young Ashley, the investigators set out into the frozen expanse surrounding the restaurant. The blizzard raged on with the low hitting 6 degrees, making the search all the more perilous. Bringing with them a diverse arsenal of tools, the Jackson Township Police, led by Chief Mark Brink, spared no expense in their quest to find the missing girl.
We worked very hard on this case, and the one thing we wanted at the end of the day was to recover that girl alive.
Canine units darted through the snow, hunting for any scent that might lead them to Ashley. Cherry pickers towering high above the ground scoured rooftops and neighboring areas for a glimpse of the child or any sign of her presence. Technology became a vital ally in the search, as the investigators employed drones to survey the area from above. Yet despite the exhaustive efforts in treacherous sub-zero conditions, the search yielded no trace of the missing girl. By the morning of January 10th, the Jackson Township Police issued a missing child advisory for the entire state of Ohio. Since the outdoors had yielded no clues, the investigators turned their attention back to the very heart of the mystery, the confines of Ang's Asian cuisine.
We were thinking that she possibly had gone somewhere that the parents just didn't know where to find her at within the restaurant.
Looking for a place where a child might hide,
Correct.
not where someone would hide a child.
Absolutely.
With meticulous precision, they combed through every inch of the restaurant, and it was within those familiar walls that they discovered the devastating truth. Ashley had never left the sanctuary of the restaurant. In a hidden storage area concealed within the ceiling, detectives stumbled upon a sign that would forever haunt their memories. In a massive salt container concealed under layers of salt, they discovered the lifeless body of 5-year-old Ashley. Ashley's parents, Ming Ming and Liang, seemed crushed at the news, and their initial reaction mirrored the anguish and grief that any parent would feel upon the devastating loss of a child. But amid the sea of tears and despair, a lingering doubt began to creep into the minds of the detectives. The authorities couldn't help but notice inconsistencies in Ming Ming and Liang's reactions. Their grief at times appeared staged, the expressions forced. The police, seasoned in their intuition, began to question the authenticity of the parents' emotions, noting the discrepancy between their outward display of sorrow and the unsettling reality that Ashley's body had been concealed within their own establishment. The once devoted parents, now entangled in the web of suspicion, became the focus of intense scrutiny and were taken in for questioning. As Ming Ming sat in the interrogation room, her expression remained eerily devoid of emotion, her face a mask that betrayed none of the grief one would expect from a mother who had just lost her child. The investigator, keenly aware of the stark contrast between her stoic demeanor and the gravity of the situation, wasted no time in confronting her with the chilling reality.
Ming Ming, your daughter is dead.
Your daughter is dead. I just don't understand, the investigator stated, his voice heavy with disbelief and accusation.
Know that you're not crying? You said I don't have nothing left. Isn't that what you told me? You don't have no tears left. You don't have nothing left. Ming Ming, your daughter is dead.
I know that you're not crying. You said I don't have anything left. Isn't that what you told me? You don't have any tears left. You don't have nothing left. Ming Ming, your daughter is dead. Ming Ming sat there in silence, her eyes fixed on a distant point as if lost in her own thoughts. The detective pressed on, his voice laden with urgency and an underlying sense of dread. What happened to Ashley? How did she die, he asked.
What happened? How did she die?
I killed her, Ming Ming finally spoke, her voice devoid of any discernible emotion.
Just kill her, and then she died.
Did you hit her?
Yeah.
The detective, taken aback by the stark confession, pressed on. Did you hit her? He asked.
Did you hit her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ming Ming nodded, her face fixated on the table before her. Yeah, and I asked my husband to take care of it.
I told my husband to take care of it.
In the midst of this chilling confession, Ming Ming's detached demeanor remained unchanged. There were no tears, no remorse, only a spine-chilling calmness. As the conversation delved deeper into the dark recesses of her mind, she said something that disturbed the investigators further. "I need to take care of everything from the restaurant. I only have 2 hands," Ming Ming confessed.
I only take care of everything from the restaurant. I only have 2 hands. I'm not 4 hands, girl. I'm 2 hands.
Her words dripping with horrifying nonchalance. "I don't want to do that to Ashley, but you can't control yourself sometimes."
I don't want to do that to Ashley, but you can control yourself sometimes.
In the grim aftermath of Ming Ming's shocking confession, the investigation turned its attention to Liang Zhao. Through chilling interrogation tapes, a harrowing picture began to emerge, shedding light on the deep-seated abuse and tragic events that unfolded within the Zhao household. Liang Zhao recounted the disturbing sequence of events that unfolded on that fateful day. He revealed that Ming Ming harbored anger toward Ashley due to her inability to be fully toilet trained.
My wife was very angry at Ashley because she peed on her diaper and she pooped on her diaper.
When Ashley accidentally soiled herself at home, Ming Ming's rage and frustration boiled over, and she resorted to violence. Liang disclosed that his wife forcefully struck Ashley's head against the carpet, not once, but twice.
And my wife got angry and hit her head on the carpet, 2 times.
As a result of the brutal assault, Ashley's condition rapidly deteriorated. She began gasping for air and subsequently vomited green bile. A panic-stricken Liang tried to clean up his daughter and attempted cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, hoping to miraculously revive her.
And I checked her heart, it stopped beating. So I started panicking and I tried to do CPR on her.
However, his efforts proved futile, and Ashley slipped away, leaving him engulfed in panic and despair.
And that's when we realized she's gone.
Fearing the worst, the couple hastily hatched a macabre plan. Liang believed that Jojo, being only 6 years old, would not be able to tell that Ashley was dead and would assume she was only sleeping, indirectly providing a false alibi for her parents. He explained that their intention was to make it seem like Ashley had left through the back door of the restaurant. Liang admitted to later moving Ashley's body to the storage compartment near the walk-in freezer to prevent any odors, using a busing container typically used for collecting dirty dishes. Shockingly, Liang and Ming Ming had continued serving customers at the restaurant while Ashley lay dead. During the interview, Liang admitted to their plan to hide the body had been driven by the fear that his wife, Ming Ming, would be discovered living illegally in the United States. Desperate to avoid Ming Ming's deportation and to protect their family from the dire consequences of their actions, they contemplated disposing of Ashley's body once the search for her had ceased. However, they were caught off guard by the lengths the police went to in looking for Ashley. Liang admitted they had not known about the procedures, polygraph tests, and interrogations that would follow the 911 call, nor had he anticipated such an extensive search effort involving numerous people. He expressed remorse and apologized.
I am so sorry.
During the interrogation, Liang unveiled more distressing details about Ashley's upbringing. He confessed that Ashley had not been under their care during her early years, and was instead sent to live with Liang's mother in New York until she turned 4, so that Liang and Ming Ming could focus on their burgeoning business. It was upon Ashley's return to their custody that the cycle of abuse began. He spoke of how Ashley's actions, stemming from neglect and developmental delays, were perceived as a defiance by Ming Ming, triggering his wife's violent outburst to discipline the child. The interrogation tapes with their haunting dialogues and chilling admissions painted a harrowing portrait of a family marred by abuse, anger, and the ultimate betrayal of a parent's duty to protect their child. The horrors that poor Ashley suffered at the hands of the very people who were supposed to love her the most forever etched this case into the annals of unimaginable human cruelty. This gruesome crime scene left the Jackson Township community in a state of disbelief and sorrow. Customers and neighbors who had interacted with Ming Ming and Liang expressed shock that the parents had killed their own daughter with such violence. The family had resided in a top-floor apartment in a building near Interstate 77, and none of the neighbors had witnessed any negative moments between Ashley and her parents. Kirk Clusty, a resident in the same building, described them as good people who looked so nice. However, the family was known to be private, preferring to channel all their hard work and dedication toward running their restaurant without any other staff. Regulars at the restaurant described Ming Ming and Liang as hardworking young parents and recalled seeing the girls in the restaurant while their parents worked. Ashley and JoJo would often play with crayons or on a tablet together. Customers who had interacted with the girls described them as polite and inquisitive. Ashley's tragic death led to an outpouring of support from the community. Meanwhile, her body was cremated and the ashes handed over to relatives in New York. Her older sister, JoJo, grappling with the sudden absence of both Ashley and her parents, was placed in the custody of the Stark County's Child Welfare Agency. A memorial was set up outside the restaurant to honor Ashley's memory. People from across the county visited to pay their respects and left piles of stuffed toys, candles, and balloons. The community rallied together to mourn the violent end of such a young life, leaving a void in their hearts. The trial began with a preliminary hearing on January 19, 2017, at the Stark County Courthouse. In the solemn atmosphere of the courtroom, 35-year-old Liang Zhao stood before the judge, his voice quivering with emotion and eyes brimming with tears, as the events leading up to 5-year-old Ashley's death were reconstructed. His 29-year-old wife, Ming Ming, sat poker-faced throughout the proceedings, interacting only with her interpreter. Court documents revealed that Ashley's parents were accused of abusing her on multiple occasions, starting from the time she moved in with them in October 2015 until her death over a year later. In September 2017, Liang, a U.S. citizen, reached a plea agreement with county prosecutors. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of endangering children, both second-degree felonies. One count was related to the events surrounding Ashley's death, while the other was linked to previous instances of abuse inflicted upon the young girl. In addition to the charges of endangering children, Liang pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence, obstructing justice, and gross abuse of a corpse, all serious felonies. The murder charge against Liang was dismissed in exchange for testifying against Ming Ming. The Stark County Prosecutor's Office revealed that Liang did not directly cause the injuries that led to Ashley's death on January 9, 2017. He was fully aware of Ming Ming's physical abuse toward the child in the months preceding her untimely death. Assistant Stark County Prosecutor Tony Schellinger noted that there was no evidence indicating that Liang had personally abused Ashley on the day of her death or any previous point. Defense attorney Joseph Gorman, who represented Liang, acknowledged his client's failure to protect Ashley and his panic attempt to keep his family intact, resulting in the poor decision to cover up his wife's crimes. Liang had already lost his child, and with Ming Ming's impending prison term, he was attempting to safeguard what remained. Nevertheless, the couple's actions spoke volumes. Liang had helped Ming Ming to deceitfully lie to the police and had himself reported Ashley as missing. These calculated falsehoods led Stark County Common Pleas Judge Carissa Hartnett to hand down a 12-year prison sentence to Liang on January 10, 2018. Judge Hartnett acknowledged the terrible choices made by both parents. Addressing Liang directly, she emphasized that though he did not directly cause Ashley's death, his decisions compounded the tragedy. Expressing empathy, she noted that had he made different choices, he could have had the chance to be there for their surviving daughter. As Liang addressed the court, his voice trembled with grief and regret. He shared that Ashley's 6th birthday had just passed 2 weeks prior, emphasizing the profound void left in his heart. "It goes without saying that I wish the situation was different," he murmured, his words punctuated by somber pauses. "And no one's going to remember her. No one but the people in my family. I don't want to be rude, but none of you remember her. None of you." Ming Ming Chen was originally charged with murder, but had it reduced to involuntary manslaughter by reason of insanity. The Stark County Prosecutor's Office clarified that Ashley's murder was not premeditated, and due to this, Ming Ming did not qualify for the death penalty. In a press release, Stark County Prosecuting Attorney John D. Ferrero described the tragic incident as an act of anger committed by a mother who had never formed a bond with her child, since she had not raised her since infancy. He noted that Ashley was more of a burden than a blessing to Ming Ming. During the police interrogation, Ming Ming had described Ashley as defiant, saying she would push her sister when she didn't get her way. But Schellinger clarified that there was no evidence indicating that Ashley had shown any disciplinary problems. According to Ming Ming's defense attorney, Richard Drucker, the stress of managing the family's restaurant in Jackson Township, which operated almost around the clock, led to Ming Ming's violence against Ashley. Drucker acknowledged that Ashley's death was the tragic consequence of this violence. He also expressed Ming Ming's deep sorrow over the loss of her child and appealed for forgiveness on her behalf. During the court hearing, an interpreter also read a brief statement on Ming Ming's behalf, expressing her remorse for what happened to her daughter and voicing her desire to become a better person. Ming Ming pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and other charges related to the death of her daughter and was sentenced to 22 years in prison. Her sentence includes 11 years for the involuntary manslaughter charge, 8 years for one count of endangering children, and 3 years for tampering with evidence, the maximum prison sentence for each offense. Since she had been living in the country illegally, it is anticipated that she will be deported to China after serving her 22-year prison term. Reflecting on the plea agreements, Schellinger stated that they were the best resolution for the case, given the tragic circumstances and the need to protect Ashley's surviving sister, JoJo. She characterized the case as a heart-wrenching tragedy in which a mother took the life of her daughter, while the father failed to shield the child from harm. The tragic story of the Zhao family depicts the devastating consequences of using violence to discipline a child. The entire family was torn apart when Ashley lost her life and both parents were sent to prison. It is evident that Ming Ming Chen and Liang Zhao were overwhelmed and burnt out, struggling to handle the continuous demands of running a restaurant. The pressures they faced in their daily lives might have prevented them from treating Ashley with patience and care she deserved. This exhaustion and the absence of a strong bond between mother and daughter likely contributed to the tragic events that unfolded. Adding to the complexity of the situation, reports suggest that Ashley had developmental delays, making her even more vulnerable to abuse. Children with such challenges often require additional support, understanding, and patience from their caregivers. Unfortunately, the circumstances within the Zhao family seem to have exacerbated these vulnerabilities, leading to a tragic outcome. Presently, Ashley's sister, JoJo, resides with relatives in New York, while her temporary custody falls under the jurisdiction of Stark County Job and Family Services. It is imperative that all involved parties work diligently to offer necessary resources and assistance to help JoJo navigate the profound trauma she has endured. As we bring this tragic case to a close, we are left with a profound sense of sorrow for the loss of young Ashley and the pain inflicted upon her. How can we as a society work together to prevent such atrocities from occurring? What steps can we take to ensure the safety and well-being of children who may be suffering behind closed doors? And how can we provide the support and resources to families in need, offering them alternatives to violence and abuse? What are your thoughts on this case? Share your opinion in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating true crime stories. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes peeled for the next mystery to unfold.